Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's BraveCat here once again with another Frontier Signals update. So I've got a couple of pretty good updates here for the website itself, and then as usual I'll just kind of go through my update. So going over here to the peer-reviewed article section, I have done some good organizing here as well as adding quite a few. So separated the geomagnetism tab from the solar side. So all of these papers here pretty much all just relate to geomagnetic related things. Couple just for solar physics, and then for the May 2024 solar storms, there's a whole section just for that because there's just ongoing papers coming out just regarding this. And these are really good as well because, well, the 2024 May solar storms were pretty strange and relates a lot to what we see going on with the weakening of the magnetic field. And then we have a section for galactic forces, and then again the other ones that have been down here. So, I added the paper that Ben just talked about down here as well, and there's still so many papers I need to sort through, gather, and put on here. So this will just keep growing. And then I actually just added this star chart section here. So we actually have a live astrological view about what's going on. So I just kind of put this thing together. I don't know exactly how accurate it's going to be. It should be pretty accurate. It's not really too in-depth. There's some things that are missing on here. But it also does have all the charts underneath along with active alignments, retrogrades, other things. So just thought that was going to be a pretty neat addition to the website here. So pretty happy with that. Could always make changes where necessary, but it's looking pretty good. So let's just get into today's update. So as usual, we have SDO completely down, and it seems like they're having some pretty major hardware issues that they're trying to fix that even goes back to a couple years ago now. So I'm not sure when that's going to be up, but it could take a while. So things have been pretty quiet here. We have the coronal hole stream still ongoing, but it's starting to wane a little bit. But the magnetic field has actually held pretty strong here, so we've gone out of that minor solar storm back down to pretty normal levels here. And the auroras aren't really too much either. We had like one solar event go on here. So if we look at the active region down here, that's pretty much the only sunspot capable of even doing anything. So it had some sort of flare pop off there. Doesn't look like there's really too much of a CME component to it. And we can see the coronal hole has started to pretty rapidly decay as it starts to depart. So not too much to report on there. We can take a closer look at the sunspots here. So as we can see, this larger region down here does have a little bit of magnetic complexity. So we can see these opposite polarities being squished into each other just a little bit. And that is what is causing those solar flare risks. But it's pretty minimal. So bringing things over to the earthquakes here, it follows pretty similar trend. Things are relatively quiet. And most of the activity we see here is going to be in the North Pacific, stretching all the way from south of south of Japan, all the way over to the other side of the Pacific on the west coast. So that is where pretty much everything is going to be going on here. When we look at over in Europe, looks like some of these previous swarms here have started to die down a little bit. And we do see a little bit of activity still going on over here in Italy, but not really too much here. We've just got a few very small tremors at some of these volcano locations, and that's about it. And we do see over here on the tremor map, there is some more slow slip events on here. So it's been pretty on and off. It's like one day we have 200, it's quiet for the next couple days, and then we have 200 again. 300 actually. So I'll just kind of keep an eye on this and see if this has any sort of consistency to it. Then we take things over to the Canada feed once again, because I noticed, like, wow, there's nothing on here. And it looks like they have not reported a single earthquake in the last 2 days. So isn't that helpful? So we don't really know what's going on there. I mean, there's got to be something going on there, even if it's minor. You know, you wouldn't have all this stuff going on up in Alaska and all this stuff going on in the United States and then have Canada just be completely dead quiet. It's not really how that works. So it'd be nice if they could cooperate a little bit better. But oh well. So, I mean, mostly we just have some 3s kind of sparsely put around in here in the usual areas with the tremor swarms. So nothing really too crazy here, but this is the only region that doesn't seem to have really slowed down much. But overall, it looks like we've seen the most recent round of global pressure has pretty much gone off to the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and some of the other spots that it pretty much drops off to. So I think most of the pressure has resolved itself, and since we haven't had any major space weather happening, that also contributes to the period of calm. So wrapping things up here with the volcanoes, and there is a couple things to go through on X as well. Pretty much all just weather related. Again, I'm not really going to cover too many on, you know, modern events going on with the wars and all that, because, well, there's plenty of other sources for that information. So just trying to keep things on the geophysical side here. So you can see here, this is what's going on up in Kamchatka. Pretty large ash plume coming out of there after a whole bunch of major explosions occurring. And overall, it seems like a pretty short list here. But the ones that are going off here, pretty much all of them have been going off for a while now. So nothing has really slowed down too much there. We got the one in France here, which I forgot to show some of the footage from that, but it looks like those lava streams have actually continued to go a little bit further, even crossing a actual road at some point. And it looks like it's going towards the sea as well. So that's pretty much what we got going on there. So just looking at a couple things over here on X. Looks like there was a rock slide over in India. It's like a pretty major one as well. You know, you probably wouldn't want to be standing this close to something like this, but it's India. What can you expect, you know? So yeah, pretty large rock slide going on there. We've got hailstorm and flooding going on around Italy. And we can take a look at that. So definitely lots of different weather phenomena going on around the planet. Some places seem to be pretty dry right now, and then other places are just getting slammed with snow, hail, moisture of all sorts here. There's a avalanche over in Turkey. Seems like more just like a river of snow chunks, pretty much just kind of going in there where people live. And I was trying to have all these be muted, but looks like they unmuted themselves. So we got some fires breaking out as well. This one happened at 4 factories over in Malaysia. 3 people died. Looks like a pretty nasty fire there. And there is, you know, some similar kind of repercussions happening over in Iran. You know, speaking of the fact I wasn't going to mention that, but, you know, down here we do see the strikes going on with the oil locations here. These major fires are definitely putting out all sorts of toxic pollutants. So, you know, it kind of just looks like hell over there right now. But, I mean, that does technically relate to the things that I'm covering here. So there's that once again. And yeah, this one is also more flooding going on here. What was this? Saudi Arabia. There's been quite a lot over there as well. And let's see. This is that same volcano over in Kamchatka. And then I don't actually know if I showed this. Pretty sure I bookmarked it yesterday. But it looks like some part of this castle over in Spain just totally collapsed here. So that kind of sucks. But anyways, that'll pretty much wrap things up for today's update. Pretty happy with the progress I've been making over here on this website. And there's still plenty more things to add. So anyways, hope y'all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe for more. And I'll catch you all in the next.